Hello my lovelies and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to make a quick short video, hopefully under 10 minutes, about the new GEEKYFUSE interfacing by Wizardry Stitchery and Crafts. I'm going to talk about the three that I have. There will probably be a fourth on the way. I wanted to show you and compare it to some known brands. This way you know how it feels, or you get an idea of the feel before you have it in your hand, if you weren't lucky enough to score one of the few sample pieces that they were offered. There was a pre-order, I believe, for this. And there will be more, I'm sure. So this video is basically a reference for anyone interested in purchasing woven interfacing, and I do encourage you to give it a try because it's absolutely amazing. I've been testing quite a few samples from Wizardry, and these were the ones that I absolutely love, and these are the ones that we stick with for now. Again, there will probably be another one in the future, but when that time comes, I will go ahead and talk about it with you at that point. Without further ado, let's get started. So, first and foremost, what kind of interfacing this is? This is woven interfacing. So, for all of you crafters out there that are wondering what style of interfacing this is woven interfacing, so comparable to SF101, to that's the first one that comes to mind when I think about woven interfacing, is the Pelon SF101. So let's start comparing them to that because it's the most known and the most used interfacing out there. So I can tell you hands down, they're all much better than that from many reasons, but and I'll go through them. So there's three types of interfacing available right now. One is the soft poly GEEKYFUSE. They're all called GEEKYFUSE, and there's two poly, and now there's one cotton brought to the shop. So let's talk about the poly. These were the bases, that the two poly ones were the ones that were available as sample packages a while back. So this one, which I absolutely adore, is the soft one, and this I would say is the most comparable to SF101. Like, if you want to switch from SF101 to something comparable to that, I would go with this one. It's, as the name says, it's softer. It's a poly base. There's glue all over the back. I did do a video in the Wizardry group showing you how I fuse this with my heat press. So make sure you join the group in the description below and check out my video in Wizardry. And that is something that can help you if you're using a heat press. I've only interfaced these with a heat press, never tried it with an iron because I have no need to do that. I interfaced them all at 335 for 30 seconds. If I feel that I need to go twice, I do, but most of the time only one time is enough. So one at a time. Soft interfacing, the soft poly GEEKYFUSE, the closest one to Pelon SF101. Next one in the poly category is the firm GEEKYFUSE poly, and this one I compared it in my other video with a lighter Decauville light. Decauville light that comes from either Vilene or Pelon has it, it's 525. The Decauville light is a leathery finish, so this one doesn't have the leather finish of the interfacing itself. However, stiffness wise, I would compare it with a lighter version. It's not as stiff as Decauville light, but I would put it in that category. And you'll see for the examples that I have here, I used it instead of firm stabilizer. I wouldn't compare it to Decauville heavy or Peltex by any means. So no, not that category. The category that I would compare this to would be the Pelon Decauville light. as you can see, it's pretty stiff. It gives great shape and great body to your projects. So this is the poly one. Both of these are poly. You can see there's a off-white tint to it. Now the third one that's brand new to the shop is the cotton one. So these are poly, these are cotton. You can see the cotton has a whiter tint to it. The poly have a more off-white and cotton is whiter. On the cotton one, I feel like the thread used to weave it is a little thicker versus the poly thread used to weave this interfacing. I would say it's just as good. It's a little more expensive because it's cotton. So budget is also something that you need to consider when choosing between these three. I would put this in the soft category. So GEEKYFUSE soft cotton and GEEKYFUSE soft poly. I would compare these two. I wouldn't compare this one to the firm. There will probably be a firm cotton brought to the shop too very soon, but we're still testing that out for now. So the cotton one, the new one, is again comparable to SF101, but I would say it's stiffer than the SF101, which is again something I like. As opposed to SF101, it has glue everywhere on the backing, which makes for a nicer, more uniform gluing surface, which I absolutely love. It is a whiter hue than the poly, and it fuses the same way at 330 on my heat press for 30 seconds. Not a problem whatsoever. I do have a video of how to use the heat press to fuse interfacing that I will link in the description below, so definitely check that one out. So I would say if you're looking for something comparable to SF101 but better, go with either the GEEKYFUSE cotton or the GEEKYFUSE poly soft. If you're looking to get something comparable to Decoville Light, I would go with GEEKYFUSE firm, right now only available in poly. And if you want it even stiffer than this, I would just add 2 layers. Easy fix. All 3 GEEKYFUSE interfacing come in 44-inch wide, 44 or 42, I can double check. Again, something different than the Pellon. The Pellon comes in the 22-inch wide, so it's double the width. Okay, so it's 21 little, so 21 times 2, 42. It's 42 inches wide, whereas the Pellon SF101 comes in 22-inch wide. So you're already getting almost double the width with this. Plus glue all over. Definitely I will never go back to Pellon. It was good when I didn't have an option, but when I started having options for interfacing, I don't find a reason to go back to it. So, as always, please leave your comments below if you have any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer it. I need to clean my mat, so excuse me for my not so clean mat. Now, I wanted to show you the interfacing that we just talked about in the next minute or so, because I do want to make this video not too long. I wanted to show you the interfacing already applied to some stuff, because I'm working on a little project right now that I'm about to film right as soon as I end this video. Will also be available on my channel shortly, and I've already used all these 3 interfacings for this, so I wanted to show them to you already in action. So for this vinyl piece, also from Wizardry Stitchery and Crafts, the pattern calls for firm interfacing, so I used the stiff one. I don't know how well you can see with the lighting that it's not all the way to the end. It's the seam allowance doesn't have the interfacing, and it's soft but firm. It's exactly what I needed. Again, compare it to Decoville Light. Don't compare it to Decoville Heavy or Peltex. It's not that heavy weight or that super firm. It's just a firmer interfacing. Okay, And I also wanted to show you, I did a scrap here to show you this on simply woven, this is cotton woven from Hissy Fit Fabrics, and this is the stiff interfacing. Again, you can see here non-interfaced woven, and here interfaced woven in the center. You can see it like makes it very, very strong. Alright, and now I also have these two pieces to show you. This will be the lining of the project, and this is interfaced with poly, the poly, my printer started printing by itself. Probably my husband is printing something from downstairs. Sorry about that. This is just a layer of woven, cotton woven, interfaced with a layer of poly GEEKYFUSE soft. Perfectly done, no issues whatsoever. Again, this will probably be a less costly option than the cotton. So if budget is something that you need to be mindful of, the poly is definitely a good option. Or there's also the cotton option. And for this I will point you to just the top of the piece, because the bottom has all kinds of interfaces including fleece, because that's what the pattern called for. So this again, cotton, the cotton soft interfacing is GEEKYFUSE. I would say having the same piece of fabric. So I have the same exact material interfaced with the cotton and the poly. I will go ahead and say that the cotton is a little stiffer, a little. While I put them both in the same category, I will say that if you're looking for a stiffer option in the soft category, the cotton one, it's a smidge stiffer. Like, I can't show you the whole piece because the bottom again has fleece and all that good stuff for the pattern, but holding them in my hand like this, the cotton is a little stiffer and firmer than the poly. Both GEEKYFUSE soft interfacing. I think I've covered it all. Again, if you have any questions, I know this can be very confusing and a lot of information thrown at you at once, and I'm very aware of that issue. I did want to have this as a video, so this way if there's a question in the group, we can refer customers to this exact video, and hopefully it helps them have a visual of the three interfaces. But as always, the Facebook group is super helpful. I'm around, do tag me or post your questions in the video below or in the Facebook group, and I'll be more than happy to help you with that. Again, before I wrap up, this is all from Wizardry Stitchery and Crafts. It's their new woven interfacing in poly and cotton. Poly soft, poly firm, cotton soft, GEEKYFUSE. Thank you for hanging around with me while I talk about this interfacing, and I will see you back here in my next one. Stay tuned for a super, super cool project that I'm posting right now.